All right.
All
And
right. We are live. We are live. So we don't have, as you can see, I didn't really add very much to our show notes today, dude.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think
I
you
figure
would.
it's going to be very podcast movement centric.
yeah, and we can kind of just move from that. I want to make my computer go quiet here. Do not disturb. I do have a hard out at 2:15 today.
All right, well,
Oh, that
Just
then
should
as
not
an
be a problem.
FYI.
the comments, man. The comments are coming in.
The comments are coming. I'm gonna send a message
I
via text. I'm
don't
gonna
have
see
access to our show notes.
what. It's not like it.
I
I mean, if you don't want to worry about it,
wait.
right? Wait,
Get that microphone closer.
it's just.
Hear you.
What do you mean?
It's a blank page. Like there's nothing on it.
What?
I will
Maybe
share
it's
my screen and show you. Hold on.
325
what?
in
No, all of it. The whole. Let me show you.
What? Don't scare me like that,
Hey
Jess, because I'm
guys.
gonna freak
I'm
out.
not scaring you like anything.
Oh.
If you can see it, it's not a
Oh,
problem.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
But watch what happens when I do it.
Okay, let's
You
see
ready?
what happens when you do it.
That's it.
Wow.
Wow.
So I have other pages, but
What the
not
heck?
that one.
Maybe
Let me try it on the browser. Hold on.
maybe it's maybe you somehow
Oh, it's on
look.
the browser.
Oh, okay, well then it's the
Okay,
app.
then I'll just okay. All right, thanks.
That's bizarro. I was like, what?
Thanks.
Thank you. Maybe it's time to turn it off and on.
Not now.
Turn it off
You
and on.
know, how come everyone says that? No, I'm just kidding.
I think I'm gonna
Because
have
I
to put
put
my
up, I was
hair
like,
back. Hold on, y'all, because this wind
"Actually,"
is insane. Hold on.
yeah. Whose video's frozen for you? Patrick Keller. Hi, Cheryl. Bum 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 bum.
Oh my god. I like how they get to watch us just do our hair.
Cheryl says it looks super windy today.
Yeah, it's very windy.
It's windy here. I mean, it's like a slight wind here. Not that has any bearing on your weather.
I wrapped my
I find that Elsie has the weather first normally, or at least in the winter time. Elsie gets the weather first, then it comes to me. I don't know what happens in the summer though. Maybe I get it first, and then it goes to her.
I don't know. It is actually really warm over here. I have wrapped actually my sweatshirt around the stick that I have my camera on so it doesn't get blown away. So I'm ready.
We're ready.
All right.
Oh,
Let's
Do
get
we
ready.
have wait
ready to rock.
before we go? Do we have
Yes.
anything that we need to promote? Oh, I do have one thing I have to add really quickly to the show notes so I don't
I
forget.
would like to mention something. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. You add yours. Did you happen to get the jeans from Julie?
I did not.
Did you ever order them?
No, I did not.
Well, that helps.
I wanted to. I actually wanted. I was going to do it yesterday, and then the ticket or the coupon code is not valid. I didn't want to be like, oh no.
We'll talk to her about it. I'm wearing mine right now, and they're ridiculous. They're so good. Okay.
Are they? Well, yeah. I actually picked it. I finally picked a pair.
Finally,
it took me forever.
picked.
It took me
it did.
hour. It took me an hour to pick. I
What
put
the
like
hell?
all of them in. Like I was like this. I am such a picky person when it comes to my pants. That's actually the one that I was gonna get, but I think
they have smoothing panels, and I mean I'm smooth. I mean I'm not really that bumpy, but then an ass lifting capability, which I'm enjoying because I have no ass normally. So.
That's exactly the pants I was gonna get too. I finally came down to those.
Same wash too.
That's the same wash, and I was gonna get I was gonna get my very first pair of skinny jeans that I've never bought. So I was gonna get skinny jeans. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it with these because they look super comfy, and then it it didn't even my thing didn't work. So sorry.
Well, we'll fix it because I'll tell you what. Jennifer and I have been joking about how our bodies no longer tolerate hard pants.
Okay.
Because of the pandemic, like hard pants aren't an option. But I put these on and I have to say these are probably the only hard pants, like, khakis, jeans, etc.
Yeah.
These are the only pair I would consider. I want to throw all the rest of them out. All of them. 7, Rebel Wilson, all the other ones that I have. I think I have Not Your Daughters. Anyway.
Yeah. I like how Bonnie, listen, honey, I am not a fan of skinny jeans. I never have been. In fact, I'm wearing one of my favorite pants right now. Since we're showing pants off, and I know that this isn't necessarily a pants thing, but I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna actually remove this from the here so you can see. These are my favorite pants.
Let's see your favorite pants, but I will answer that question for you, Bonnie. Okay, never mind. I don't need to answer it. It's because she only wears the largest pants known to man. In fact, if you've seen her khaki pants, like 4 fat women can fit in her pants with her and still have room. That's how big. Her overalls are Randy's overalls. Need I say more? Okay. I don't think I do. I don't hear you. You're muted.
She muted her mic. I tried to unmute it, but I can't. Uh-oh. What just happened?
Elsie. I can't hear a word you're saying. Shite. It's the Jessica Show. It's the Jessica Show. It's the Jessica Show. You guys don't want that, I'm sure.
I could come in and make it the John and Jessica Show.
I mean,
she'll be back in
the first time, and it wouldn't be the last, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so am I going to get to do some of these morning zoo shows with you?
It's just me and a friend, Bob, and it's his idea, so I figured
it is a good idea. But I was kidding.
It's just fun to try to do something. I'm trying to work clean, but it didn't work out today.
Why bother? Just be yourself.
I know.
The only good way to do it is to be yourself.
What's going on with
Okay,
Elsie?
so Bonnie, Julie Lieberman Neal's daughter started a clothing company called Democracy Clothing, and I'm gonna promote it. I don't have a coupon code yet, so if you want to wait, you can wait. But like Democracy Clothing, she has these jeans are fucking incredible. I'm not gonna lie, they're ridic. They are delish. They are very size inclusive. They have all the colors and all the washes, boot cut, boyfriend cut. They're awesome.
I've never heard of it. Is that a joke? Or is there such a thing as a boyfriend cut?
There's a boyfriend cut. It's like not skinny, but slightly less skinny. And then they roll the bottom. Right. They roll the bottom almost like they're pegged.
They're awesome.
I'll get a coupon code.
They are amazing. There's so many choices, and that's why I was like drawn into having they have new camo ones that are those are so cute, and that's why I was torn. I'm like, should I get jeans? Should I get these camo ones? And then they didn't have they sold out of the exact color in the camo ones that I wanted, and then I thought, I'm gonna hold off on that. But like getting back to the skinny jeans thing, okay, listen. I think this is my point of view here. This is surely just me. When I want to show off my body, when I want people to look at my ass and to oogle over it and see what God has given me, I will wear something that draws attention to it. Okay? I feel comfortable because I know what I look like. If I'm wearing skinny jeans or I'm wearing even yoga pants, like in fact, when I wear yoga pants, I've never worn the tight yoga pants. I never have because I think it's too much. I don't want people looking at my ass and knowing every single curve that I have. I don't want that. So therefore, I have not gone.
You have the ability to hide it.
Well, see, I just don't. That's why I like the baggy stuff because I feel more comfortable. I feel. I don't like the male gaze. Let's put it that way. I don't like it. And I feel like if I have skinny jeans or tight, super tight pants, without my choice, like meaning that I'm there to just bring it because I do it on purpose. I know when to do it. You know what I mean? Then I'll do it. But otherwise, other than that, I do not like it. I do not.
Okay.
So anyway, that's why.
Recording yet? So John, do you want to count us in?
Sorry.
It's all right.
No, that's okay. I just don't want to lose
let
any
me know when
sound bites.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
Actually, have you started recording, John?
No.
On your thing?
No.
Stream. Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, StreamYard's recording. Yes.
Well, this is what I'm saying. You had it in StreamYard, so there is. Yeah. So then there were all of that stuff was already recorded. Hold on, I gotta choose my right origin.
Choose your weapon.
I gotta choose my origin. Okay, let's do it.
I had an origin for breakfast. Just kidding.
Okay.
Right, here we
Okay.
go. 3, 2, 1. Press record. And then Elsie, say hello.
Hello.
Just say hello.
Hello.
Oh, look at how nice. There's so many people here. Oh, Matana, thank you for missing me. We're going to talk about some of that.
I think her name is Matana.
Matana.
Sure.
Why don't we just record a podcast?
All right, let's do this.
Okay. Hello. Welcome to episode 325. I am your co-host, Jessica Kupferman. With me, as always, the extremely tall Elsie Escobar, and the even taller, our producer, John Jamingo.
Oh my gosh, Jess.
I'm feeling short. This has been a short week for me.
Oh my gosh, you're going to feel so short when I tell you. So I sent you a pair of shoes that I really liked that were huge platforms, right? And they were incredibly expensive. Mm-hmm. I found another pair of shoes with the same platform that I really like, that are boots that I think I'm going to get. There's something that makes me feel super empowered by the giganticness of shoes and feeling like I'm the tallest person ever.
Same. I'll never be that, but I do like platforms because it makes me feel at least that I can have a conversation eye level with people, which I
right. Yeah, no, and the reason I love platforms is because they help me still feel really solid on the ground, even though I do wear heels occasionally, but they hurt a little too much, and I'm a little too conscious of it. Whereas when I have platforms on, I usually don't tweak my whole entire
platforms.
They don't hurt as much. They don't hurt as much.
You but taller. I will say that I wore platform sandals while in Nashville for about a day, and I think because of the time gap in between wearing those shoes, they weren't as comfortable as they used to be. Like we've not been practicing wearing uncomfortable shoes, and I'm a little out of practice.
Yes,
so,
I mean
it's good to know. You should probably put them on a little bit.
I know, and I mean that's a great thing. And you know what? I had a pair of Adidas, like old school Adidas, that I wore the other day, and I wore them just in town. You know, when we came into town, there was a lot of walking that I do out here, and I kid you not, I got home and my feet hurt, and I was wearing sneakers. That's never happened. So then I thought, oh gosh. So now I'm wearing my running shoes, which are really, really nice. I
hope that's not age, but it could be.
It could be, or it's probably the fact that I haven't been wearing any shoes or what. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, anywho, oh my gosh, dude, I missed you for so long. We didn't record last week because you were kind of almost getting ready to go to Podcast Movement. You were still around, but we decided, no. Yeah. And so here we are. You went.
So I just want to say,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I just want to address seeing, because there are some people that are live listening to us today that I saw, and so Matsuna said she missed you, and it was so good to hug me. It was very good to hug you as well. Tracy said missed you, didn't get enough time to spend with you, Jess. Can't wait till she podcasts live. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I only saw Tracy in passing, and I'm not sure how that even happened. That wasn't supposed to happen. So yeah, like, well, go ahead, finish what you were saying. Yeah, I was Podcast Movement. I was in Nashville.
Yeah, that's it. That's really it. Like, you just have to basically give us the scoop here, because my biggest thing is this was obviously when was this was the first thing that you attended with this amount of people since Podfest in March 2020. So how was it? How was the feeling of being around all the people? Was it like, oh my God, was it, what did you feel?
This is going to sound very strange, and I hear myself saying it, but I'm just going to say it. I felt okay. So there was lots of spacious seating. I have a feeling that many in-person tickets switched to virtual at the last minute. But there was a lot of spacious seating at Podcast Movement. And some people were wearing masks, some people were not wearing masks. It was sort of like a choice situation. Jack, our producer, wore a mask almost the whole time. I did an on and off type thing. Like I didn't wear one at our party because my makeup was awesome. But like there were other times when I was in the expo hall that I did wear it. And it also depended on what I read that morning about how contagious it was. Like it's a little bit of a shit show right now. But I can say that like when I was in the expo hall, when I was in the party, they had a party at a line dancing club on Thursday night. Podcast Movement parties are normally crazy packed, and it wasn't. There was space to walk and move around, which is again very, very rare for a Podcast Movement party. I felt very safe amongst our people. And then when I was in like Nashville proper, or when I was at the airport, or when I was in a cab, or when I was like, like going, like when I was on the streets of Nashville, I felt very unsafe. That makes no logical sense whatsoever, except that the people that are at the Podcast Movement in my head are less of a crapshoot. Like we are of similar mind. We've been getting similar communication from the staff. Like we sort of are all in it together. We knew it from, what was happening from the staff. So I didn't feel as uncomfortable in a huge room of unmasked people who were drinking and dancing. I know that sounds insane because they were all in the airport. They've all, who knows where they've all been. Doesn't matter. But so the next night after that, Thursday night was the big party. It was a huge party. It was at a bar. Like I said, we were shuttled there. We were shuttled back. I would say at least 500 people were there, at least. And no one was wearing a mask because it was open bar and you can't drink and mask without spilling some shit. So we didn't really mask. And also you can't really dance with a mask on or you'll just suffocate to death. Let's just be honest. It was crazy dancing. I danced my ass off with Todd Cochran. Like we shook our asses.
What? This is so hilarious. Oh my God.
It was so fun. He's a good dancer.
I cannot.
It didn't happen unless there's video.
Wow.
I don't have receipts.
Video of this.
I'm sorry. I don't have any receipts, but it happened. You can ask my staff. Jen was there. Holly was there. Jack was there. Anyway, so the next night, however, I wanted to do some shopping on Broadway. So we took an Uber to a restaurant. It was called the Mockingbird. The food was incredible. While we were sitting there, no less than 4 bridal parties came in and out, unmasked, drinking, eating, screaming, and that made it feel a little unsafe. And then we took an Uber to Broadway, the top of Broadway, which by the way, I didn't know this about Nashville because I'd only been once and I never got to make it to the main road, but Broadway in Nashville is like Times Square. It is incredibly packed.
Whoa.
It is a billion lights. It is
wow.
It is
insane.
It's a bar next to a bar next to a bar. All of it with live music happening. You can hear all of it at once. I really enjoyed the fact that there's music on every corner, everywhere you go. I did not enjoy the fact that so many people were not wearing a mask. Like 1% of people, including us, were wearing masks, and the people working in stores. Like I went into the candy store, they were masked. We went into the restaurant, the waiters were masked. None of the patrons, not one patron. I was immediately terrified. And so we went to 2 stores. I bought candy for the Pish for my little boy. And then I went to I wanted to show them a boot store, like a cowboy boot store. So we went in a place called the Boot Barn where I bought cowboy booties in teal. They're the most amazing shoes. I had to buy them. And then we got the rock out of there. It was terrifying. So that doesn't really answer any questions, but except that like I don't know what now the thing that I'm looking at for the coronavirus is breakthrough cases, because different states have different rate of breakthrough. I don't know why. But so like right now Delaware has like a 0.01 breakthrough, which means that for every, I guess, 100,000 people, 1 or 2 are getting sick that have been vaccinated. Those are breakthrough cases. So I'm looking at breakthrough cases in each state, and they're all different. Some have 11%, some have 0.03%, and there's no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. But it does make it difficult to gauge the safety in any given situation, which basically means, but most things that I read say, if you're vaccinated, you're pretty much fine. It's a very rare thing to have a breakthrough case, but it's also like, it's about as rare as being in a motorcycle accident, So, that's what I've read. But all I can say is like, because I know Tennessee has a lot of unvaccinated people, it scared the shit out of me. Because I don't want to carry it to other people, even if I'm vaccinated. But we got home. Jack got a rapid test immediately because she's in New York City, and it was negative. She got a PCR test. I don't even know what that is, and it was negative. While I was gone, one of Isaac's friends was tested positive, but she didn't have any symptoms. They just test every couple weeks, and the one little girl in their family tested positive. The rest of them are negative. None of them have symptoms. It's crazy. The whole bunk at camp had to be quarantined for this whole week. Anyway, I want to go back to podcast movement because this is not valid. This is just side notes and stuff, but it's important for planning our event. And I don't want to talk about the status of our event because we're just watching and making sure that we can still do it safely. At this point, I feel like we can. We may change some things as far as like, I don't know, like making sure people are vaccinated or whatever. But for the most part, yeah. School. So Patrick's saying school is a giant podcast movement with optional masks. Well, depending on, you're in high school, I think, Patrick, but most people in high school can vaccinate, but the kids Isaac's age can't. So who knows what's going to happen? But all the adults should be vaccinated. So it's sort of like you can talk yourself in and out of everything all day long. You can literally talk yourself into it and then out of it and then into it and then out of it 4 times. Which is why it just makes it difficult. But let's go back to the event. Oh, middle school. Oh, you might be fucked. Anyway, okay. So let's talk about podcast movement. I will tell you the highlights of podcast movement that I saw. I had a very lax day at podcast movement. So I stayed with Jen in a room. Jack was in another room. Stacy was in another room. That was our core team that was there. Events director, Jennifer Follick-Rains, producer, Jack Woods, director of corporate sponsorship, Stacy Sims. We went to all the booths. I can say that we expected to see a lot more decision makers than that were there. I think that most booths either did not have staff there where they had intended to have staff there, or the major players changed their minds and just sent staff to man the booth in their absence. Because like before I went through the podcast movement app to see what decision makers we would be able to talk to, and we marked them all. And then we maybe got to talk to like a third of that. Some of that could have been that they were busy. Like I wanted to say hi to Podpage, who was our sponsor a couple, last month before. I never got a chance to see him, but I knew he was there. So if you're listening, hi, sorry I didn't get to see you. Libsyn had a lot of people staffing their booth. I saw Sarah. I finally got to meet Lori Sims.
Yay!
Finally. But like in passing, she was also missing in action for most of it. I don't know. Sarah said she came to the party. I don't remember if I saw her there necessarily. But I digress. So the first day was, I didn't go to any of the keynotes. I heard Kate Erickson keynoted and she was amazing. She's a friend of She Podcast. Mark Cuban keynoted. You can read all about what people thought of his keynote in Pod News or Podcast Business Journal or literally anything that has to do with Mark Cuban. There were lots of divisive comments made by him that others don't agree with, appreciate. Some people thought that his keynote was one giant infomercial. Why are you surprised? I'm not sure why that's a surprise to you. I'm sure he paid for that keynote, and I'm sure that's exactly why. It was to show his platform. I think a lot of people are saying that Fireside solves a problem that no one had, which is that
but you know
podcasting
what?
needs to be more social. I'm not sure I agree with
have
that
a
either.
so I have a comment about the whole that it was a giant infomercial, and I'm sure he paid for that keynote. I'm not sure that was the case. Like,
Why?
I don't think he paid for the keynote.
Why?
I don't
Why
know.
not? Why would you?
I don't think that I don't know. I don't know. I may be wrong, but alas,
if Fireside was a big sponsor, I can guarantee you that they paid for that keynote. If they
were
I
they?
don't know if they were.
I don't think they were. That's what I'm saying. I think that there's an element of like, Cuban was it's a big name. Like you kind of go like, oh my gosh, Mark Cuban, woo, right?
But
and
he's
that's
also launching something.
Right. I know he's launching something, but it might have just like landed at that time. And again, listen, I guess if that is the case, then because I did see a comment, there was somebody who had a really wonderful insight. I think there was a comment somewhere. I can't even remember exactly where. Somebody did a really lovely summary of their experience at Podcast Movement, and it was really positive. Like, I really enjoyed it. And then they amended a little bit of their post, saying like, what I would like for it to be different is if there are some sponsored sessions that they lead with that they lead with this is a sponsored versus, how there's sponsored tracks, and like the person who sponsors the track like introduces the track, like that's great because they're part of the thing. But what I feel that these people were saying is that if there is like a corporate
if it's sponsored
company,
yeah,
you need to say this.
I agree.
They bought that thing. They bought that spot. Like, this is not like, and that one thing that I did see, and again, obviously I wasn't there, is that a lot of the independent type podcasters, the ones that have their hands dirty, the ones that are doing their own stuff, the ones that have smaller teams, the ones that are, putting in the work, were the ones that gave the most valuable information. That the ones that have the larger companies, the ones that are coming in from like the industry perspective, were the least informative or actionable for whoever attended. So, which makes
Carrie's
sense.
saying that James Cradley posted some problems with Fireside in the PM community. Yeah, it's worth reading, I think. I didn't see any of the keynotes. I was busy sleeping, which is something I never get to do, and I was desperate for, because when I wasn't sleeping, I was in the expo room or, talking to people outside, and it was a very big hotel, so it was a little bit exhausting getting around it. Like, I did what felt like a 2-mile walk the first day I was there, and I didn't even find the convention center. Like, I just went in a circle around, like, where all the restaurants were. And then I was like, wait. And at the end of it, I was like, we didn't pass the convention center. And Jen was like, no, it's its own island. It's called Delta Island, and it had more restaurants and more rooms. It was crazy. It was so big. It was a beautiful place, though. Beautiful pictures, and I feel like it's like, honestly, I felt like some of the clientele won a trip there. I'm not gonna lie. Like the people who weren't there
for the people that weren't there for Podcast Movement.
Like, I feel like I know how much it costs per night, and we got a discount for the group. And some of those people, if they could afford it, they certainly didn't look like they could afford it. It's like probably like
now.
the Nashville version of Disneyland or something. Like, it's like,
well, I mean, that's
how did
the
you
thing.
get in here?
Also, you never know, Jess, because you're saying, you never know the types of deals that are going out there. Plus, also, if somebody would have seen or sees the way that I dress in fact, I just sent a picture. Who did I send that picture to?
But Elsie, you still
and somebody said to me, you look homeless.
No, like, your hair is done. Your face is clean. You're wearing actual makeup. Your teeth are there.
No,
straight,
I'm not, dude.
Relatively straight, but present. All teeth present and accounted for. That's all I'm saying. Like they didn't just look homeless. They looked out of place in this hotel. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying it was fancy, because it wasn't. It wasn't that fancy. But all I know is that
it looked like there were like even food trucks in there at night. I saw a picture of that. I thought that was cool.
Cool.
It was like
It was very
neat to have
cool.
a food truck in a hotel. I mean, that kind of
It was
tells you
crazy.
how big
It
that
does.
is.
It was
So
big.
yeah. Did you okay, so you
So then-
essentially did you attend any sessions at all?
Yes, I attended one session in the main room. It was a panel about Black voices in podcasting. Connell Byrne, who's the CEO of iHeartRadio, interviewed Dolly, can't remember her last name, Jill Scott, and Charlemagne the God. Dolly is the
Wow,
head of
what
the
a
Black
panel.
Pod. I know. I don't remember. I'm sorry, Dolly, that I don't remember her name because she's very prominent and important. I'd have to look it up because I don't remember. And the other two are famous, which is why I remember them. But it was a great panel. I'm not a person of color, so I don't want to speak for anyone who was there who was a person of color, but here's what I'll say. Jen and I both did not like that Connell Byrne, a white man, was interviewing the panel about Black voices in podcasting. And we also didn't like the questions he was asking, because the first thing he started out saying was like, my kid's in 6th grade and blah, 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 blah. And both Jen and I were like, why are you talking? Why are you talking when Jill Scott is on stage? Like, don't talk. Connell, don't talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
mind you,
and Dolly Bishop, probably, yes. Thank you, Terry.
So I have a comment on that. And it feels to me as if this is a common occurrence where
he's the CEO.
It doesn't matter, Jess, because I'm going to comment vaguely on what I consumed from Podcast Movement and the keynotes when other people are on stage that are not the quintessential white dude, is that the quintessential white dude tends to get behind the mic and stay on the mic for like 10 to 15 minutes before they even refer to the other person on stage.
He wasn't that bad.
Well, I'm not saying, all I'm saying though is that this is a thing. Like I watched one keynote like full on, like I was like at the keynote and I was like, when is the mic going to be passed to the other people that are on stage? And I timed it. It was like 10 minutes into it.
Did you see the session I'm talking about?
No, I didn't.
Okay. It's worth seeing only because whenever Jill Scott was asked a question, she answered. It was almost like singing, but it was talking. It was like melodic, calming.
Oh
it rhymed sometimes.
I love
it was like rhythmic. It was like Jill would go da 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 da. Like it was like a song almost. It was amazing. The way she spoke was amazing. I was very amused. Like I think the last question that Connell asked them was like, why Black voices in podcasting? And all of them kind of looked at him like they didn't want to answer necessarily. But
that's the stupidest question ever. Sorry.
He asked the last question to Jill and she was like, because we're intelligent, we matter, we're this, we're gorgeous inside and out. Or she said, she was talking about her people. I do my podcast for my people. My people are this, and then they're this, and they're this, and this, and this. They're this, and this, and like she was amazing. And then he said, what about the last part of the question? She said, what is it? He said, do you have hope? And she went, yes, and then handed the mic.
Oh my God.
What's she gonna say? No. I'm fully pessimistic. There's no hope for Black people. Everyone run from podcast. Like, what's she gonna say? What is she gonna say? It's just the questions like that. Like, do you have hope? I mean, that's not. I'm not, again, a person of color, but if it were up to me, I would just want them to tell their story about why they think it's important, what made them start doing it. I mean, there was that to some degree, but like, I don't know. I just thought his questions were dumb. I shouldn't say that because they're not a sponsor yet, but
no. Hey, I know. I get it. And it's so loud in here. John, you're going to have a problem with this audio today because they decided to.
Any of it.
Okay. Well, they decided to there's a trimming of the garden happening right over there. That
I can hear it. I said,
so
I'm
loud.
thinking to myself, is that a leaf blower or a chainsaw?
It is either one of those things. I think it's a leaf blower, or maybe it's a chainsaw.
we did hear the origin story of Dolly Bishop and how she started working for them, which I thought was fascinating. If you have to listen to one later, I would listen to that one because the way that they spoke was fast. Charlene the guy was also fascinating. Yeah, I think I can't hear your stuff, Elsie, so I think it's okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
you went to
Then the
that one
party.
session, and then yes, the She Podcast Shindig. How did that go, love?
The shindig was amazing. I mean,
Mind you,
just the
wait, can I
way it
interrupt you
looked.
before you continue? Yeah. I just want to say that I got pictures, right? People were sending me pictures and all this stuff. And I literally got butterflies in my belly. And I got the feeling that I did when we did She Podcast Live, where you walk in and I was like, oh my God. Because it's like your stuff, it's like your baby is up on stage,
Mhm.
really huge. And I was like blown away by how beautiful it looked. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
It was the biggest logo I've ever seen in my life, and I didn't know it was gonna be on, like, the main stage, but there we were. I walked out by myself on the biggest stage I've ever stood on, shaking like a leaf, and I mean, you couldn't really tell that I was nervous because, I
No,
don't
because
really
you
have
were like
stage
this
fright.
big, dude. When I saw
Like, I didn't have
pictures,
stage fright, but I was like, "My papers, something's going on with my papers." I was, like, shaking like crazy. Couldn't
you were so
see.
little though. You were like, I saw you
I
on
know.
stage and you were like this big,
I was
so
like tiny.
small.
That's how big it
So
was. So yeah. So first, just before I get started, I just want to thank Libsyn because they sponsored the shindig and they really came through for us and they made it really nice and awesome. We had drink tickets and then cash bar. We had some little nashis, like we had crudité and cheese and chips and salsa and stuff like that. It was really nice. I saw lines for the bar. I saw lines for the food. Some like people were, I mean, mostly telling me how good I looked, which
Oh
frankly
my
was
God.
like my
So I
best. It was the
mean,
best
hey,
part of the whole
why
week.
not?
Right? My love language is flattery. So just so you know, I'm very susceptible to flattery because I'm that vain. And I got to hear a lot about how great I looked, and I got to hear a lot about how beautiful the party looked and how beautiful our logo looked. And of course, someone asked who our designer was so that they can have that person do their graphics. And I was like, sorry, it's me. Because I did it this time.
Yay.
I have a question.
Yes.
I saw a lot of purple in that logo. Am I
Oh,
wrong?
come on, John.
I got to go
There
back.
was a
Don't give me-
lot of
think it's a revolt.
purple.
I see a revolt coming here.
So true. No, I mean, it was mostly teal. Yeah, so the shindig was up there. It had Libsyn's logo, it had our logo, it had Podcast Movement logo. It seemed like everybody had a really good time. I will say that there was at least 250 people at this party. Like only about 175 like registered, but it seemed like a packed house, which was awesome. I got to see lots of
love that.
I know, it was so great. There were a lot of people missing though. Yes, like all the people that I knew were there. I saw like Tracy and Matana, and there were just lots of Teresa Gonzalez, lots of people there that I was so happy to see, and some that I never met in person before, which was great. But there were a lot of people that, like, I could feel the absence, not just of you, although that was huge. Your absence was huge, but I could feel the absence of people who are normally at every conference. Katie Kermitzos, Bonnie Frank, Danielle Corbett, like people who are at every single one, Carrie Pikera, and just all of our friends. Rita Bautista wasn't there, and
Liz Kovar also didn't come
Covart wasn't
today.
there. Yeah, Covart wasn't there. I mean, a lot of the people that I like regularly hang with at conferences wasn't there. That was very strange. But I had a team there which sort of made up for it, but I still like, even though they're like, oh, I'm so glad we came because we got the vibe and the experience, and I was like, you did, but also not exactly, because there's so many friends that weren't there that I would have liked for them to meet and hang out with and laugh with. You know what I mean? And the friends that were there, I barely saw. I barely saw Chris Krimitzos. I barely saw Dave Jackson. I saw Tracy in passing, like quickly in passing. there were a lot of people that were there that I didn't get to see, and I'm not sure why that happened, but I mean, I guess it's okay. It just kind of made me sad. Oh,
Maybe
Carrie,
it's
I was on a panel. The only reason I saw Carrie is because I was on a panel with her. I saw her in passing, and I swear she looked almost. I don't know, Carrie. You'll have to tell me. Did we overwhelm you? Because I was like, Carrie, this is the team. This is Carrie, and she looked almost lost. And I can't tell if it was because like we overwhelmed you, Carrie, or if it was because you were just on your way somewhere and we interrupted. I'm not
or
sure, but
she might have also been like me, where it's like, okay, she was,
Yeah.
she's a little introverted, as am I.
Oh, that's right, because she's very
So,
introverted.
I
Oh,
mean,
I'm
we
sorry. We
have
must have
a
overwhelmed you then.
vibe
I
of like, hey,
apologize.
and like it takes a little bit. That's why my deer in the
Yeah.
headlights look is the thing, and
She
also the
says she was
smile.
just overwhelmed by it all. Okay,
Okay,
well that
yeah. See,
that makes sense because like honestly, when we walked away, Jen was like, I feel like we should check on her. And I'm like, no, she's probably just overwhelmed with everything. I'm like, we're gonna be on a panel with her later. It should be fine. But yeah, she did look. I mean, actually, to be fair, she was outside of the hall, which by the way, like huge escalator up to the conference center and banners from ceiling to floor with Triton and iHeart and every show that they both are like huge banners. It was very, very overwhelming visually. So that's probably what we caught up, what we caught from her. Then okay, so then there was my party. That was amazing. It looked amazing. It felt amazing. I was on a high the whole rest of the night. The next day we did some more expo booth stuff. Then we got, and I was like pretty done for the day. Like I was exhausted. I was tired. Like my everything hurt at that point. I was like, I'm not going to see fuck Questlove. I'm not going to see Questlove. And then Scott was like, I talked to Scott and he was like, no, really, you should go because it's like Questlove. You never get to see Questlove, not even in Philly. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go. I was just going to let my team go without me. Truly, I was not going to go. And then I talked to Elsie.
I know.
And Elsie was like, you have to go see Questlove. And I was like, bitch, you know that you would never, ever go.
I know. And I agree. I totally owned up to that. I would be like,
could have convinced
no.
each other.
Yes.
He was the most amazing DJ, and my body did not remember that it was 40. How old am I? It doesn't matter.
You're younger than
remember. That. My body thought I was 25 again, and I danced like I was in college. I mean, it was like Groove is in the Heart and the Safety Dance mixed with like, I mean, just the most amazing music. But the best part of the night was when he mixed. Please tell me you know the songs, Elsie, because I don't want to have to explain. Do you know Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe? Where it goes,
yes.
Okay. He mixed that with Smells Like Teen Spirit.
No way. So I do know both of those songs.
So it went like this. Here we are now. Dun 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 dun. Entertain us. Dun 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 dun. I feel stupid. Dun 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 dun. And contagious. Dun dun dun. And we were like, wow! Like we didn't even know. Like my Gen X brain exploded. Just exploded. Every person there over the age of 35 just lost their shit all at once. Because they were like two of the most popular songs. They don't belong together. Only a musical genius would figure out how to put that shit together.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
That's hilarious.
Incredible. Plus, I was there with Jen, who's a camp friend who I have danced with every Friday night since the dawn of time. And Holly, who was there because she had a Fashion Crimes podcast. Holly, that bitch ended up in the promo video. Look, if you look at the promo video, so our stage is at 1 minute 44 seconds. Right after the stage is a group of women taking a picture. Holly is in that fucking picture. She's the most extroverted person I know. It was amazing. She looked incredible. She was wearing Alexander McQueen, of course, and she looked amazing. She's a stylist, so that's her thing. So that actually felt really good, was like being there with camp friends, but it also indicates something else that I would like to point out, and then I'll stop talking for a little while if you want. I've been in podcasting since 2014, and the friends that I've made through podcasting are unlike any other in the world. But, I had a life up until that point, obviously. Like I was like 39 when I started, 38 when we started podcasting. So like That's 40 years of friendships and groups in high school and college and sorority and camp and, a cappella group, whatever. But this is the first year that those groups merged in more than one way. Because at this conference, not just on my team, I had Jen. Jen is the one that hired Jack because that's her team. So having Jen was a coincidence. It was a karmic pandemic coincidence. But our friend Holly has a podcast, Fashion Crimes Podcast. And our friend Sam, who was a CIT the year before us, is in audio and works on a major political podcast and was there to make connections. Just so happened to run into Chris Krimitsos, Daniel J. Lewis, and then came to dinner, was like, I met the two coolest guys and named those two guys. And I was like, shut your face.
No way. That's
he just
so
happened
bizarre.
to meet. Yes, he just happened to meet them.
That's
and then
weird.
After my panel, a woman who was in my a cappella group years after me, she was like, I'm a D sharp and you're a D sharp. And I was like, what the hell is happening right now? Like, it was crazy. And that's how I know in my head, like that podcasting, I think, is becoming a little bit more mainstream, because I know that I know a lot of people in podcasting, but like, this is the first year that people I know outside of podcasting have infiltrated that space. And it could be because we're the founders of She Podcasting. I mean, the reason why Sam came was because his friend's sister told him I was into podcasting, and he just called me to say what's up and hi. And we just had a call, and I was like, you should come to this. So he did. So I know he was there because of me. That wasn't a coincidence. But him meeting our other friends was a coincidence. And also the other girl being there was a coincidence. And everyone hanging out with each other was a major coincidence. And I think that's because, I mean, even Bonnie, started coming to the conference. She's someone I knew from courses. And oh God, the worst thing happened to me too. There was a guy. So before podcasting, I took Lewis House's School of Greatness, mentorship, which was so terrible.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
After a month, all of us quit.
Sounded
but one of my study buddies was there. This was from 2012. And that guy was there who I hadn't seen in forever. Look, Cheryl's saying I have Girl Scout friends that I've met because of podcast. Yes, that's when I think that it's starting to become something more people are doing and know about, is when there's crossover, when worlds collide, right? Because that never happens. It doesn't happen to me ever. I always have to. Yeah. Oh, and Bonnie's saying me too. Yeah, they're becoming my cohorts, and I have pulled them into it on some level. But they'll pull other people into it, and they'll pull other people into it. Sam, like I said, he met friends that he'll be able to collaborate with. Holly took a picture with a giant group of girls that I've never met. I mean, if I looked again, I might know them. But I just think it's really interesting that worlds are colliding in good way. First of all, I love when worlds collide. That's what I want. That's why I started the event, is because I wanted all of you who are listening to mix with each other, rather than just me and Elsie and have us just teach you, or for us to just have a lunch. I wanted that to be a weekend or a whole thing where we could all meet and hang out with each other.
Yeah. I really do think that part of what you're talking about there, it kind of clicked in a different way now, because the event, I feel, is something that I can invite everybody to.
Yes.
And it is not, and even though, okay, obviously it would really be more beneficial to you if you were a podcaster, because it would resonate with you in so many different ways, of course. But the fact that we've curated the content of She Podcast Live to also have content that is a little more self-care centric, a little bit more centered from a different perspective, a different point of view, where you feel like it's less like this is how you use a microphone, but it's a little bit more expansive. That to me feels like I can invite people who don't have anything to do with podcasting and kind of get them into it. And I also feel that it is I don't know what this says, but I feel like I can invite almost anyone to come to my event that I've known prior from podcasting, versus have somebody listen to my podcast. So I feel like I can't just go, hey, listen to my show. Because I
Yeah.
feel it's not for everyone. Like I don't. Whereas with She Podcast Live, I honestly feel like you'll get something out of it. It's for everybody. Just come. Just come. It's
Yeah.
like a big
Yeah.
party that way, right?
Totally. It is kind of like a big party. And yeah, and I think it applies to everyone, and I think everyone will have a really good time regardless of whether or not you've started one or not started one. It's really more about the collaboration. And I wish that more people had come this time around because even
You
though
mean
I
to
do think
podcast movement? Is that now you changed
yes,
to put to
I
podcast
wish people
movement?
come because I
Okay,
would have liked for more people to feel that vibe before they come to our conference.
right.
Like I think
Yeah,
that
but I
vibe
think
is it's different
also
though. Like
though,
Jen could
I
even Jen
understand.
and Jack could tell it was different. And Jack especially because Jack is non-binary. And so um I knew that podcast movement has I know that it has a very like the only way to describe it is like a broy vibe. It's broy. It was founded by bros. They invited their bros. We're bros with those bros. Like it's broy. The word that Jack uses is heteronormative.
Yes, but
And
it's broy also in not even like a bro. It's broy in a corporate way.
true,
So
and
it's bro like you know what I mean?
it's not unwelcomingly
No.
broy.
I mean, I understand what you're.
It's
Yes, I
just
get it.
that when we're at a party with Questlove and there's like,
It's
400 white dudes with baseball hats on, it feels a lot like a frat party at college. That's not
okay.
a
All
bad
right.
thing or
All
a
right.
good thing. But
Yeah,
for a
yeah, yeah.
person
That's
who's
just an observation.
non-binary, it probably didn't always feel safe, even though I would never put them in a situation that wasn't safe. We know our community is welcoming and accepting and inclusive, but I don't know that it felt as inclusive as it could because of the clientele and for nothing else. Like podcast movement can't do or hasn't done or should. It's not that they've done anything to encourage or discourage this vibe. It just is what it
And
is,
also the other thing too, Jess, though, I mean, the other thing too is that there's
Not
also another, even now in, this year, it also
Mhm.
probably kept some people home that would have attended in other times, right? So it's one specific sort of type or psychographic that attended this time because they felt, check these boxes versus
Yeah.
a
It's
lot of
their
other
thing.
folks, right?
That's
Yeah, and then
true because
and
it's
to
their
me,
vibe.
even if it's me, this is the very first time, and I'm a gung ho podcaster person, right? This is
Mhm.
the first time that I told you way back when, and I told Lipson way back when, I am not going to podcast movement this year, and was
Yeah.
a huge, choice, and
Mhm.
I'm somebody that would attend, but even if you just think about it from that perspective, like I'm someone who's never missed a podcast conference like this, particularly
I
podcast
know.
movement. And I did on
I don't know that
purpose.
you missed anything. I
So
really don't
no, but
because
I
it wasn't packed as it
all I'm
normally was.
saying to you though, Jess, is this is what I'm saying though. You're making
Yeah,
like you're looking at the people, but it's like there's a lot of people that could have made a difference that 100% said, I'm not going.
that's true. And I think,
So
and I mean, and just to be clear, they were totally safe. Like Jack was totally safe the entire time. I mean, they may pick up on people that treated them differently or were dismissive or maybe looking. I picked up on glances that I became suspicious. Like, are they glancing because of them or are they glancing because like because I never know if they recognize me or if they're now I was like are they looking at Jack or I mean Jack had a mask on so I mean it was like it wasn't it didn't feel to me to be an obvious thing. They live with that all the time though, so it was interesting to walk around with someone who is non-binary and feel those feelings. I'm not empathic, but I am intuitive and I could see when they were feeling um out of their element because Brooklyn is Brooklyn and this is Tennessee. And on top of that, it's podcast movement, which again has a bit of a broy vibe. I don't think that they were insulted or I don't think they had a terrible time, but I just thought it was very interesting. It was an interesting lesson for me and it really helped me. I'm first of all I'm incredibly grateful that they're on our team and that they're creating the look and feel of our show. But I'm also incredibly grateful to have had that experience, because I want the opposite of that at our conference. I want to make sure that all people who are there feel safe, included, represented, that they are 100% sure that all of their needs are being met, that no one is looking at them funny, or that they feel like an oddball someplace, that they don't already normal, you know what I'm saying? Like in normal life, this happens.
Right. No,
to
I
me
get.
all
Yeah,
the
I
time.
understand.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And the work is, I mean,
So-
we all start with just that clear intention, and then you make choices, you know, and and you
Mhm.
make, sometimes you make harder choices and other times, and it's a lot of conscious work daily, on the daily, conscious work
I was very
on
grateful for it. Very,
the
very
daily.
grateful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, so that's podcast movement. It was, I mean, a lot of ways, it was absolutely amazing. I did feel it was missing its normal pizzazz, and I think that's because all of you punks stayed home. But I will not shame you about it, because Tennessee was a little, I mean, I'm not certain they made the wrong decision, because Tennessee itself, like,
Dude,
it was
you
terrifying.
know better, than to say they made the wrong decision in terms of location, because you have to
That's what I
choose the
mean.
location
That's what I mean. It
way
was
the heck.
terrifying.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was terrifying. Yeah.
Way the heck earlier.
New York City would have felt safer, and that place has 18 billion
Right.
more people.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, whenever you're doing these events, as you know, event organizer, you have to make these
Mhm.
decisions way ahead of time, and you have to sign contracts and things, and you can't just be like, well, I don't know about, like, if you're going to be changing stuff, you better be ready to back it up, right? Because
Yeah, it did make me rethink the South on some level. Like, not like, I have been thinking about doing our show at some point in Nashville. I will not do that ever. The southern places that I would probably do now are still, I would go back to Atlanta. I would do Austin, and I would do New Orleans. Those are all hippy dippy. I mean, New Orleans is a little touristy, but it's not spray tan white girl bachelorette central. That's what Nashville is.
I've never actually. I just went to the. Guess where I went when I went to
Hi,
Nashville?
Kim.
I give you
Yeah.
Kimberly Sumter. Please come up north. She says, "Yeah, we are
looking north,
We're
too.
looking at north
I
too.
don't know where you are north, but we were looking there too.
She's way closer to you. But
Mhm.
no, what I'm saying to you is, like, when I went to Nashville, I did go to. Guess where I went to Nashville? I know you'll guess. Of course, people will guess where I went
Where?
when I was in Nashville. Where
Where? I
else
don't
do
know.
I go? What's the only
Whole
place?
Foods.
Yes. I went to Whole
Oh,
Foods.
I didn't realize that, Kim.
Yes. I went to the Whole Foods. Oh, Nashville.
And
So,
what was your impression?
of the Whole Foods, it was great.
Yeah. Were
It was
there a
nice.
lot of Yeah. On
It was
this-
packed. When I went, it was packed. The Whole Foods was packed. And I believe I saw some kind of actor person that was outside. I forgot which actor it was. I was like, oh my God, that's
exciting.
and I saw an actor at the Whole Foods, and I believe that was one of my. The thing is that it was kind of. I remember it was a little bit small,
Mhm.
and it was a funky layout. It was like in a kind of like a strange area where we
Mhm.
went. But again, that was the only place I went. It was just Whole
I don't
Foods.
remember seeing a Whole Foods. I would say this though, like it was so much of a thing, the bachelorettes, that I actually looked it up, and it turns out that Nashville is a huge bachelorette mecca, because Philly and New York, you have to like stand in line and get into a club, whereas Nashville, like, the bars are one right after each other, and you can just boom, 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 go into different ones. So it has become an actual bachelorette mecca, because I mean, it was unbelievable. They had a table that they have a vehicle that's a driver, I think, and a table where bachelorettes sit all around the table doing shots and pedaling their way through the street.
They have that here, dude. They have
It's
here
called
in
a pedal
Asheville.
tavern.
Yeah, we
What
have
the
this in
hell?
Asheville. We have this in
Let me tell you
Asheville.
something. If anybody ever invited me to pedal my way through a city, we would no longer be friends.
Well, maybe you can come and see it. I'll take a picture next time and I will send it to you. But yes,
I never saw
that
such a thing.
happens here. That happens.
You guys
We
also
also
have like the open limo where they do like a dance party as they're driving down the street. That looked very unsafe.
No, we did not. We don't have but we do. There's a bus that you have a person make jokes in the bus.
Oh yeah.
and it's really
Those are
bright, and then
tours.
they go down the street, and then they have jokey things happen. And this place is jam packed, and it's the
Wow.
amount of places. I mean, the skyrocketing COVID people here is out of control because everybody from Florida comes to Asheville for the summer, and it is insane. It's right now there's nobody here because the donut place here is closed. So no one is here right now. But if I were,
there's no donuts.
I know that it's closed. So there's no donuts. But like anywhere else, like in here, it's out of control. Like I'm just like, what the heck with the people? It's crazy. It's insane.
It is crazy.
So,
did you want to talk about the article that we have on here or no?
I actually just want to really quickly before we wrap it up, because I'm going to have to be going here really quickly. Number one is that y'all, She Podcasts, and actually I think Patrick actually sent me a text message that he had gotten an email from Facebook adding his podcast to his podcast page. And this is actually true for us as well, because I got the email on the same day that Patrick did, but I just missed it because I get so many emails from Facebook that I never look at them. And so now our podcast is on the She Podcast page. I also added it to the Libsyn page. I did listen to our latest episode on the phone. You can only see it if you're on the phone. You have to scroll through to find podcasts, but it's there. I attempted to share it and it just froze. It seems to be incredibly buggy, so I haven't been able to do that. But I just wanted to know everybody that at least some emails have been coming out now and having other people add their show in there. It's really easy to do it. If you get an email, it is click the link that they send you, add the show, say yes, boom, it's there. Like it's magic. It's fast. It took all of 5 seconds. So that's really amazing. So if you guys have an opportunity, it would be awesome and delightful if you guys shared episode 324 on your Facebook pages and tell them how funny the whole vocal mist conversation and the purple conversation was, because I thought it was brilliant. It was comedy gold according to some of the feedback that we've gotten, right, Jess? And so, and the last thing is that I want to give a shout out to Buzzsprout and especially Albin for having me on the Buzzscout show, Buzzcast. It's very hard to say that. Buzzcast episode. It was a really great conversation that we had. It's like a super long episode. So if you do get an opportunity to give them a shout out, that would be amazing. And it'll be even better if you just listen to the episode. There'll be a link in the episode notes, as always. That is it. Right on,
wonderful,
baby.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us here. Thank you to us for being with you, and which is not what I was trying to say, but it came out that way. If you want to see any of the links we talked about today, go to shepodcast.com. You can also listen to our show again if you want on why did I say that on She Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at She Podcasts. You can also send us feedback at shepodcast.com. Don't forget that we have a conference coming up October 14th through the 17th, She Podcast Live in Scottsdale, Arizona. Get tickets, find out more, shepodcast.com/live. Don't forget, it's incredible.
It's going to be amazing. We are looking forward to it. And then we are incredibly mindful and we are very thoughtful and about everything, because we take the responsibility very, very seriously about so many different things. And anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
Buy your tickets. Come to see us. It's probably the only time you'll see me out in the world this year.
I know. That's probably true. Yep. Thank you guys so much again. Love you.
Mean it.
Bye.